Man beat man is back.
Oh, okay, boys, done it again. Oh my gosh, the ring got messed up. This is a 5 out of freaking 5.
It is beat making time.
Next week is E3 week. My album comes out next week.
I have delivered. You talk to us, you talk to him, but oh, look at that, my God.
This is your boy. Alright, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy Dash True Inferno. And that time is almost here. The NBA season is upon us. But you probably thinking, but wait a minute. It's August, October the 10th, or by the time this video goes up, October the 11th. Normally the season starts like late October. Well, they push it back. The reason why they push it back is to eliminate more double-doubles and, or not double-doubles, back-to-back games, and eliminate teams playing 4 games in 5 nights and things of that nature, which is not a bad idea. I mean, some of the veterans complain about it because they dealt with back-to-backs and playing 4 games in 5 nights and things of that nature. But, you know, it is what it is. We get more games, so I can't complain. Now, you know how I do things, man. I always give you guys my NBA regular season playoff predictions. So let's get things going, shall we? So let's start off with the Eastern Conference. I always do that because I am in the East Coast, and this is the Eastern Conference. So we're going to start off with the Atlantic. And this is pretty much a foregone conclusion as far as who's going to win this division. And it's the Boston Celtics. I mean, they got Gordon Hayward and they got Kyrie, you know, even though I still consider him a bitch, but Kyrie is no joke on the, on the court. So Boston will win that division. Toronto will get the number 2 spot ahead of Philly. Yes, Philly will move up to the number 3 spot. Actually, they was number 3 last year, if memory serves me correctly. I could be wrong on that. Brooklyn's number 4, and then the New York Knicks is number 5. Now, Philly could get the number 3 spot, assuming that they are all healthy. So that's the issue for them. Now, let's move on to the Central Division. And unfortunately, the Cleveland Cavaliers will win this division. Obviously, they still got LeBron James. They still got Kevin Love. They're going to get Isaiah Thomas next year because he's injured. And they got Derrick Rose, although he would never be MVP Derrick Rose. That ain't happening, dog. But he's still going to be a good player coming off the bench or start. I'm assuming he's going to start as the season, begins. But when Isaiah Thomas comes back, he's going to be basically on the bench. Now, speaking of being on the bench, they putting Tristan Thompson on the bench. I don't know how I feel about that. Well, let's move on to my predictions. The Milwaukee Bucks will get the 2nd spot in the division yet again. And then the 3rd spot will go to the Detroit Pistons. And the top 3 spots are pretty much obvious at this point because the Indiana Pacers and the Chicago Bulls, they have fallen off the map. They lost Paul George. They lost Derrick Rose. They lost Dwayne Wade. They lost Jimmy Butler. They lost Rajon Rondo. They lost a lot of people. So Indy gonna take that number 4 spot, and Chicago will finish dead last. Nothing is going for these squads, either one of these squads rather. And then we move on to the Southeast Division, and this is also pretty much a foregone conclusion. The Washington Wizards will get the number 1 spot there, followed by Miami. I think, well, I don't know. I want to say it's going to be close early on because Miami was on a roll at the end of the regular season last season. And then, of course, they got put out in the playoffs. And, yeah, I think Miami will get on the roll early on, but that roll will fade. And the gap between Washington and Miami will begin to show. So, but Miami will get the number 2 spot. Charlotte will get the number 3 spot, followed by Atlanta, who have taken a nosedive themselves. And then Orlando will get the last spot. Now, let's get to how I think these conferences, or this conference, will go down as far as who make the playoffs and things of that nature. Boston will get the number 1 spot again because, again, even though they lost a lot of players for that Kyrie Irving deal and they had to give up players to get Gordon Hayward, they still got enough to hold off Cleveland, who are not at full strength because, again, Isaiah Thomas won't be back until January or sometime next year. LeBron is sporting some type of ankle injury himself. So, and again, they got Derrick Rose, who is always injury prone. So, I think Boston will hang on and get the number 1 spot. Cleveland will get the number 2 spot. Unfortunately, those 2 spots are obvious. Washington will get the number 3 spot, and Milwaukee will get the number 4 spot. Milwaukee is a team on the rise. I'll get more on them later. Toronto will get the number 5 spot, followed by the Miami Heat. The number 7 spot will go to my Detroit Pistons, and the last spot, the last playoff spot in the East, the number 8 spot will go to the Charlotte Hornets. So, yeah, there you go with that. Now, let's go out west. So, basically, Philly will miss the cut, get a number 9 spot, and Brooklyn will miss the cut, getting that number 10 spot. Now, let's go out west, finally, as we go to the Pacific Division. Now, this is pretty obvious. Golden State wins the division. Pretty much, yeah, that's obvious. The question is, who gets the number 2 spot? At the moment, the Clippers still got Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan, and that's enough, in my opinion, to hold off the rising LA Lakers. So the Clippers will get the number 2 spot in the division, followed by the Lakers, then the Sacramento Kings, and finally the Phoenix Suns. So that rounds up the Pacific Division. The Southwest Division will be very interesting between 2 Texas teams, to some degree, in the form of the San Antonio Spurs and the Houston Rockets. I still believe San Antonio will win the division. Houston will get the number 2 spot because just like Boston had to give up a lot of people to get Kyrie, Houston had to give up a lot of people to get Chris Paul. But Houston will get the number 2 spot. The New Orleans Pelicans will get the number 3 spot, followed by the Dallas Mavericks, and Memphis lost a lot, and they're going to get that last spot, obviously. And I'm missing a division, the Northwest Division. So let's get on to that one. This is mostly a lock. The Oklahoma City Thunder will win this division, and it'll be a close one between them and the Minnesota Timberwolves, who would take the number 2 spot. Portland will round up the 3rd spot, followed by Utah, and Denver will finish dead last. I could be wrong with that Utah-Denver. I could flip-flop it, but it don't matter. Neither one of them making the playoffs, so why should we care? Now, as far as who made the playoffs, speaking of which, the Golden State Warriors will unfortunately get the number 1 seed. The San Antonio Spurs will get the number 2 seed, followed by the OKC Thunder, and the Minnesota Timberwolves will get the number 4 seed. Yes, I got those 4 teams ahead of the Houston Rockets, who will get the number 5 seed. The New Orleans Pelicans will get the number 6 spot, followed by the Clippers getting the number 7 spot, and the number 8 spot. It was close, but I went with the Portland Trail Blazers. They still got Damian Lillard and CJ out there, so I went with them over the Lakers, who will get the number 9 spot. The Lakers' time will come. So, with that out the way, let's get on with the playoff predictions. And the first round, there's going to be a little bit of excitement out east, but as far as who advanced, I mean, they pretty much status quo. The Boston Celtics, the number 1 seed, will go over the Charlotte Hornets. I might call them Bobcats. The 8th seed Charlotte Hornets in 6. And unfortunately, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the number 2 seed, will go over my Detroit Pistons, the number 7 seed, rather than 5. And the last 2 will go to 7 games. I got the 3rd seed Washington Wizards over the 6th seed Miami Heat, and the 4th seed Milwaukee Bucks over the 5th seed Toronto Raptors. Let's go into the second round of the Eastern Conference, where I got the Boston Celtics over the Milwaukee Bucks, so the 1-4 matchup. That's going 7. The 2-3 matchup, I see Cleveland going over Washington. That's going 6 right there. In the Eastern Conference Finals, and at this point, I would prefer Boston to win. I would welcome Boston to win, despite the fact they got Kyrie on the squad. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen, unfortunately. At this point, Isaiah should be healthy. The question is, will he remain healthy? Another question is, will Derrick Rose be healthy? Oh, and they got Dwayne Wade. Will he be healthy? That's another question. But I don't know. I doubt all 3 of those guys will all be messed up or injured. So I'm going with Cleveland over Boston in 6. That's what I'm going with. Now, let's move out west, Sally. Out west, I got the number 1 seed Golden State Warriors over the 8th seed Portland Trail Blazers. That's going to be a sweep. The 2 seed San Antonio Spurs against the 7th seed Los Angeles Clippers in 5. In the last 2 series, we're in the 6th. I got the 3 seed Thunder over the 6th seed Pelicans, and the 4th seed Timberwolves over the 5th seed Rockets. Yes, that's going just 6, not 7, 6. Now, second round action, I got the number 1 seed Golden State Warriors over the 4th seed Minnesota Timberwolves in 5. And this one will go 6 as well. The 2nd seed San Antonio Spurs will go over the 3rd seed Thunder in 6. And that's going to be pretty interesting right there. And then, of course, the Western Conference Finals. I hope I'm wrong here. I really, really do. Just like I hope I'm wrong with my Eastern Conference pick. I hope I'm wrong here. I really, really do. But I got the number 1 seed Golden State Warriors over the 2nd seed San Antonio Spurs in 7 games. Setting up the trilogy of a rematch. Well, not the trilogy of a rematch. The trilogy of a finals matchup, rather. As the Golden State Warriors would take on the Cleveland Cavaliers. And unfortunately, I got Golden State over. But actually, no, wait. That's not unfortunate. The matchup itself is unfortunate. The outcome is not unfortunate. I got Golden State over Cleveland in 6 games, giving Golden State another NBA championship, their 2nd one in 3 years. So, and really, they should have won all 3 years. Well, no, they should have won it. Well, actually, I take that back. Their 3rd one in 4 years. They should have won it the past 3 seasons. That's what I meant to say. I had to think about it for a second. So there you go, man. If Golden State don't win the championship, I'm gonna give you my top 3 title contenders. Golden State, the number 1 pick, obviously, unfortunately. San Antonio, my number 2 pick. My number 3 pick, I guess I go with Cleveland. I guess I really don't, but I guess. So yeah, there you go with that. Now, as far as my MVP, my regular season MVP, that is, that's going to Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard, without question, will win the regular season MVP. Finals MVP, I'm going with Stephen Curry, because I think he's going to ball this time around. And that's going to do it. So let me give you a little bit of an insight on Star Wars Battlefront 2 beta. That game is dope as heck, though. I've done nothing but play out in space, inside those jets or whatever, you know. So that's pretty dope, man. I can't wait for the full game to drop, man. I'm going to be all over that game like crazy, man. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So, yeah, once again, I got Golden State winning another championship. So, with that out the way, y'all know who this is. This is your boy, the new Jay Gatsby, a.k.a. the new Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.